And we're back. Hey, Ashley.
What's up? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right.
We
Doing
took
all
a little
right.
bit of a break,
We
and
did.
I got up to no good at punk rock bowling with the Rifleman and Go Bold.
Oh my
That
God.
was a
Say
lot of
more.
fun. Say more?
Say
Well,
more.
as we had talked about in previous episode, we got two GC Records bands invited to play punk
Yes.
rock bowling. And so they played Monday and they played the main festival, which was awesome. On that Monday, we got a booth and we sold out of the 7-inch records that we made specifically
Awesome.
for punk rock bowling. So it was a win in multiple levels. Um, and so yeah, so we did punk rock bowling, and you did something musical as well this summer. Tell
I
us a
did.
little bit about that.
Totally different vibe in every possible way. Uh, HMS Pinafore by Gilbert and
Mm.
Sullivan with hats and all the ladies getting married at the end. So much a different energy. Um,
But I would also say rambunctious,
oh
in a similar
yes.
fashion.
Very playful.
I think the
Very
first
much.
Gilbert Sullivan thing I ever interacted with was the Pirates of Penzance, or what
Oh
is that what it's called?
yes. Pirates of
So
Penzance.
yeah, so
Yes.
hilarious and crazy, and I think punk rock and spirit.
There is definitely an energy of subtly sticking it to the man and making fun of kind of I guess ill thought out government plans.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that I think about it, there is some correlation between the spirit of jovial fun and celebrating good times and simplicity, and also pointing out the flaws in poor
Of
leadership.
society.
That is, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there is
Mm-hmm.
a correlation between some of our topics, uh,
And
musically
and
and I guess
um
poetically.
and so, what role did you get? What did you have to do? What was the, you know?
I was cousin Hebe.
Ooh.
My entire plot, which
Mm-hmm.
is going to sound weird and extremely dated, was to convince, uh, we're going to say, my distant cousin, my elder distant cousin, to stop pursuing the soprano and marry me, goddammit.
Oh,
Because it was that period in time. And so part of the bevy of women that follows Sir Joseph, um, it's a bunch of women that just stalk him because he is magnificent. I'm my character is the queen of those women that are stalking him, and he is there to marry the young and beautiful soprano, and I'm there to
that's
convince him to
amazing.
do otherwise
A-
subtly
and
because
then
she's in love with the tenor.
did you have to audition for the part?
I am a spoiled brat, and I did not.
Wow,
I've
invited.
I've worked with the
Also
company
invited.
a long time, and so frequently when they need a mezzo for smaller roles, it's not a big part. It is a silly, small comedic part, and so
It
when they
sounds
need a
like it.
mezzo to do that kind of thing, I am
But still,
spoiled
you
and
still have to sing, regardless of
I
how big the
do. I
part. Yeah,
do. I sing and be silly, and it was quite a great deal of fun, and the cast was lovely. So
that's
it was a great
awesome.
time.
Very cool. Yeah, so we both got invited to things and
We did.
did our part and had some fun. That's amazing. But let's get to today's episode, which
Yes.
is the follow-up to You Call This Music Volume 1, which was the first anything that we put out that sold out and we had to repress it. So we said, you know what? Let's double down. It was kind of fun poking fun at the Now We Call This Music compilation albums. So You Call This Music Volume 2 came about.
Oh
This
yes.
one also over 30 tracks. So we're definitely not going to get
Massive.
through all of them. Uh, but I've selected a few that I think are representative. And if, dear listeners, as always, if you love what you hear, gcrecords.bandcamp.com, and you can listen to the entire compilation album. The first song I'm going to play was essentially one of the first songs on this compilation from a band from Southern California named Toys That Kill. Um, These guys are really amazing. They're prolific. They're in like 5 different bands.
Wow.
The ringleader, Todd, he was a professional skateboarder in the 80s, took that um, notoriety, I guess you could say. I mean, it wasn't really necessarily global fame, but if you read a Thrasher magazine, you knew who he was, and he was signed, not signed, sponsored by a lot of skateboard companies and this and that. And so he parlayed that into starting his own record company called Recess Records. And they were inspirations to myself and Gila. Then they became, in a way, not necessarily directly, but mentors, kind of showing us the ropes, showing us where we're going and what we're doing, how we're getting there, how labels can work if they're a DIY spirit as opposed to
Nice.
like a Sony conglomerate kind of thing. And even when we had the 20-year anniversary festival in Las Vegas in 2019, just before COVID, Toys That Kill headlined the show for us, even though they weren't necessarily, on the label, but we did do a lot of releases with them. We did partnered up with them on the 4-letter words Jagoffs split 7-inch, or split 12-inch, and then of course the Toys That Kill fleshy split 7-inch. So lots and lots of love to Recess Records and Toys That Kill. But this song is called Little Bit Stranger, and it's kind of endearing. And, basically he says, you've got a head, that's why I've got a shoulder in it.
Oh.
And it's just so endearing and quite punk rock. So here we go. Toys That Kill and Little Bit Stranger.
Out here, just a little bit stranger. On a trip without little danger. 6 a.m., it gets a lot colder. So I ain't got a head and I got a shoulder. Been singing every word you said. It seems I take advice just from the dead. As a getaway. Out here, just a little bit stranger. On a trip without little danger. 6 a.m., it gets a lot colder. So I ain't got a head and I got a shoulder. Blind in here, but I can still see you. Loneliness celebrated by two. I woke up today. Out here, just a little bit stranger. Was a trip without little danger. 6 a.m., it gets a lot colder. So you got a head and I got a shoulder. Out here, just a little bit stranger. Out here, just a little bit stranger. Out here, just a little bit stranger. Out here, just a little bit stranger.
All right, that was a little bit stranger. Toys That Kill.
Mm-hmm.
So that feels like a very familiar tonality and energy to things that we end up hearing later in some more mainstream music, which leads me to believe that they were probably very influential or influenced by, it could go in either direction, some sounds that were coming out of that Southern California region. I'm very
and
intrigued by both. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think they did influence a lot of bands, even if those bands might not, state as such. Bands like Blink-182 and things like that. From the types of things that Recess Records did release, or things that Todd got into. So.
Yeah, because based on the timing, it would make sense that this would be a musical predecessor to those things that gained notoriety just a little bit later in the mainstream. I'm curious if you know the origins of that band name. You mentioned that many folks in the band were in a bunch of different groups.
I specifically know, like as far as like the real like nitty gritty, but Todd started recording stuff. He had a Fisher Price just tape recorder, like a toy from the 60s or 70s or something, and
Yeah.
recorded his first 7-inch record. And it was basically him, I believe, doing all the different parts, doing the drums, doing the guitars. It was very lo-fi. And he called that band FYP, 5-Year Plan. And then that band got band members, and then they had rotating, people in the drums, and started touring and started getting really big, and then got really, really big, and then did one last final album. And that album was called Toys That Kill. And that album was so far removed sonically
Oh, interesting.
from that first Fisher Price recording. Didn't even sound like the same band. I mean, Todd
Wild.
grew older, grew up, became an adult, although he was an adult when he released the first one. But, he and as artists do, they, grow and change and things like that. And so when it became apparent that he was just kind of done with those very simple, basic songs, and that Toys That Kill album was kind of an indication of where he wanted to take his music, they flipped it, kind of similar bandmates, and they made the band Toys That Kill. That FYP album, Toys That Kill, they did a scratch, demo tracks of all those songs, and had their regular drummer Rawl. But then, and this was, I think, a little bit of a drama at that point, but everyone's friends now. For the FYP Toys That Kill recording, they went with Josh Freese, I believe, who was the drummer. And now I'm like, ooh, is it? It was either Josh Freese of the Vandals or homeboy who was the drummer of Blink-182, who's named Travis Barker. It's one of those like guys that are just like amazing studio musicians, and they probably are on 1,000 different records. You just didn't know. They got paid their $100, session fee or whatever. But and so, I mean, it was like clean recording, clean drums, and this like multi-layered storytelling. And so they then said, okay, well then that doesn't really fit FYP.
Yeah.
Let's do Toys That Kill, and then they ran with it. So why was that album called Toys That Kill? I don't know. What does it mean necessarily? Is it just like, in my mind, it was always like lead-based paints on the 5-year-old's toys,
I mean, there were so
maybe
many
toys that you choke on. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, thinking back, at first my brain went to a much darker place. But there were so many toys released during that time period when we were kids, approximately, that were so deadly, like the lawn darts. That
So I think it's in reference to all of those and any of those, like whatever you would think,
That's
and it's so funny because like I said, the bands, and then the same group created another band called the Underground Railroad to Candyland.
And, oh man, I love that juxtaposition and like that transition from like bright things to like heavier.
Like, and the bands do not sound the same, but it's all the same. A lot of the same instrumentalists and singers and all that, but they don't necessarily see a connection, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about Toys That Kill, that's Toys That Kill. If you're talking about FYP, that's FYP. And then a few years ago, FYP started playing shows again, which was mind-blowing because we thought they broke up forever. So in fact, you could probably catch FYP or Toys That Kill still in 2025, which is amazing.
That's rad as heck.
Yeah, and just the fact that they've always been so supportive, not just of us, but like I said, with Recess Records, they release untold numbers of records every year. It's really cool, really, really inspirational folks. And so that leads us to our next song, The second song that I've chosen, this was a group who we then later brought onto the Six Steps to a Better You compilation album. That one we'll get to. That one was 6 artists instead of like 40, like on these You Call This Music. So it was 6 artists doing 4 songs a piece. So it was almost like combining 6 different EPs. And they were one of them. And they're based out of Germany, and they were very, I mean, their lyrics were very horror based, sci-fi based, and their drums and melodies are all samplers and drum machine, and then they had real guitars, real singers. And this song is kind of like they kind of mashed 1984 with Animal Farm, 2 George Orwell stories, which, you know, in themselves have a lot of social commentary. And so it's kind of mashing the two together, but then putting it in the future. So this is Nazis from Mars playing Animal Farm 2084.
There we had Animal Farm 2084 by Nazis from Mars.
Did you recognize the melody?
I've never heard that before.
It was a play on Old MacDonald. Old MacDonald had a farm.
That was endlessly charming.
They're so charming. There were a lot of people that were put off by the name. They were like, "Oh, Nazis? Like Nazis?"
That was so bold for a German band to go with that.
Well, because in Germany, you are not allowed. Like, you are not allowed to have swastikas or the word Nazis or none of that. So it was kind of sort of their way of rebelling, but also it's Nazis from Mars, so it's very, you know, like B movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So very, very, very charming band. They released, I think, 1 album and an EP, and then again they were on this comp, and then we had 4 tracks from them on the 6 Steps to a Better You compilation. Very fun band. Very, very cool. And I think they stumbled on us by way of Introspect, who also started with drum machine and guitars kind of thing. So it was this synergy, and they were like, "Hey, we see what you're doing. You see what we're doing," kind of thing. I I don't know if you can find their stuff on Spotify or iTunes or anything. It's been a minute since they broke up, but if you can find it, please do. If that sounded good to you, like very, very charming.
I have to say that like fun kind of bloopy synth with the childish sampling of like old McDonald's, McDonald, and the like human meat reference, and just the use of that kind of like casual, playful dystopian concept in a like child's song presentation is just so fun and different. I loved it.
Yeah. That was, I think, the first track that we heard, and we were like, oh my God, done. We need that on the compilation. So it was amazing. This album, by the way, was released in September of 2002. So just to give you a reference of, where we were at, what bands were doing, what bands were trying out. And I know we normally play 2 tracks every episode, but this album has 40 tracks. There's no way that we can just limit it. So what I'm going to end us off on is the very last new song that we released from the Norwegian band Pornshot before they broke up as a band. So for those of you who missed it, go back to season 1 of Record Revolutions and you can hear the podcast episode about the Pornshot album that we released. It was the second album we released on the label. This is the final song we released by them, and it's called Mad Song. And it's kind of funny because I don't know. It's like the jealous main character who's sabotaging someone else's love because of their crush kind of thing. I don't know. It's really hilarious. It's really funny. But then again, was it funny at the time because the singer was dating the drummer and then they broke up and then the band broke up? So, should you be singing about loving someone else's, boyfriend? But it's a very good song and it's very cute. And so we're going to end this episode with a song. So again, Ashley, it's a pleasure doing these with you. I know we had a little bit of a break over the summer.
So
you got down with the opera, the Gilbert and Sullivans, and I got down with the
punk rock bowling.
Punk rock bowling. But it's fun to get back at these. So thank you, listeners, as well.
Yes.
It's really amazing having you come along on this journey. But without further ado, and we're going to sign off now, Mad Song from Pornshot. See you guys.
I wanna squeeze you underneath. I wanna cut 'cause I know you can't be bold. I wanna scream out all your secrets to anyone around me. And if this one needs a party, yeah, with everyone around me, so that I can see you is the biggest fool of all. Every time you walk around, it's in my head. Every time you move around, it's in my bed. Every time you walk around, it's in my head. Every time you move around, it's in my bed.
Let's hey there. Stop at 7 o'clock. Let's stop at 8 o'clock, 9, 10, and then 12.